Welcome back. We've been talking to Tom Keith from the Sisters of Charity about South Carolina's lack of funding through a federal program called Temporary Assistance to Needy Family, or TANF. And joining us now are Dr. Kathleen Hayes and Linda Martin from the South Carolina Department of Social Services. They are here to explain the state's need for the funding. Of course, we have Dr. Kathleen in the middle there, and we've got Linda on the end. So we're coming up for another reauthorization of these federal dollars.
That's right.
And how much of an impact would more money have on the needy families of South Carolina if it changes?
It would be critical to our state to be able to get these additional funds. It would mean that we could do more for families, and they would be able to actually get into jobs faster and be more secure in their jobs. It would make a huge difference, not just to the 8,000 or 9,000 people we might be able to get in jobs, but to the communities around them.
And
major impact.
Okay, Dr. Kathleen or Linda, I don't know who can tackle this, but how much of a monetary difference would it be versus the formula that's going on right now versus the formula that it may become in 2010?
Well, if we could get a formula based on poverty instead of the current formula, it would be about $62 million more for the state of South Carolina. That is, under the old formula, we might get $32 million. Under the new formula, we could get as much as $91 million. So it's really a huge difference for us.
I believe. I'm sorry, go ahead,
That'd be recurring dollars. We'd have that every
recurring
year.
dollars.
Let's go ahead and pull up our full screen graphic that we had made and show how South Carolina compares to some other states in the nation about how much money each family receives every year. These are the bottom states receiving TANF block grant funds. Number one, Arkansas, that's actually at the bottom of the list. Alabama, Texas, and South Carolina there in the bottom. This is according to the U.S. Census Bureau. And then let's look at the top of the list, if we can. I know Alaska is number one, then followed by Hawaii, District of Columbia, and Connecticut. Just based off of what we know about southern states, there's more poverty here in the South, and we're looking at Hawaii and Alaska, Connecticut. How do you explain that to our viewers at home?
Well, one of the things that is really remarkable is that it's taken us 13 years to be able to have someone that actually understands what this means to South Carolina. And I want to thank Tom and the Sisters of Charity for actually understanding the tremendous impact in the state. It is an inequity that needs to be corrected, and we finally have an opportunity to bring it to a national level. So there are many states that would be positively affected by this.
What sort of support do you have in Washington? Who are the key players, the decision makers who are on your side? Who are your team players, and who's against you? Anybody want to tackle that one?
Certainly, I think, if I may, some of the states like Alaska and Connecticut will be, Hawaii will be fighting to protect the old formula because it's more beneficial to them. And South Carolina, as well as the other southern states, will be fighting for the new formula. But we hope that our entire congressional delegation will support South Carolina in this area, and believe that they will, because it's of such benefit to our citizens.
I was talking with Tom about this in the previous segment. What would you say to somebody, a critic of welfare, that it's a crutch, that it's a handout, that it's not so much about getting welfare families back into work? What can you tell our viewers at home that may be thinking that?
I think we could say that is a system that was reformed in 1996, and we have a very strong job assistance program now, and with very strong requirements for how people can work to get jobs. We help them during that period of getting jobs, and our goal is to get them self-sufficient in jobs, which helps the entire economy.
And in order to receive welfare in South Carolina, in fact, anywhere in the nation, an able-bodied adult has to be engaged in work or work activity 30 hours a week just to stay on welfare. And being on welfare in South Carolina doesn't pay very much. Our average monthly assistance payment for the whole family is only $191 a month. That's for rent, utilities, clothing, everything except what could be purchased with food stamps. So.
And how has South Carolina fared in these TANF years, where we've been, the lack of money has been there? How has South Carolina kind of stepped up to the plate and done fairly well without these federal dollars coming in?
I think South Carolina's done remarkably well, but we are limited in what we can do to further get people into jobs. We probably helped 8,000 different people get jobs last year at above minimum wage. That's remarkable given the state of the economy. What we need to do is to have enough resources that we can really support those families fully to self-sufficiency so that they're tax-paying people in our state. So we are hurting in terms of not being able to do enough for families.
Linda?
Well, there's just so many things that we would like to be able to do that we can't afford to do. We'd like to be able to put people in better training so that we can really improve their skills so that they can get jobs that are above minimum wage and really jobs that they're able to retain. We put a parent in any job that can help them support their family, but let's face it, being a welder is a lot better than working at a McDonald's. So, you know, if we can teach people skills that can support their families, that's really the aim of the program.
And we were talking to Tom about this earlier as well. Of course, we're in this recession. How has the need changed within the last year and a half with the Department of Social Services?
We have seen more people come to us for assistance. We probably have 25% more people right now needing jobs through DSS services than ever before. That is a tremendous pressure on the system to try to do all that we can at the same time that we have fewer jobs in the state. So there is quite a pent-up need in the state. And we've seen a lot of people come to us that previously had never come to DSS for services. So it's a very difficult time for families.
And we were talking a little bit about this as well earlier. What kind of services, if you were able to draw down more money from the federal government for this, would you be able to offer that you would really like to offer now, but you just don't have the funds?
There are just a variety of services. We do, as I said, some basic job training, but we could help people be in skilled job training where they could come out with a job that was going to last them the rest of their life and allow them to support families. We do very basic kinds of support services like transportation, helping, you know, if you come on to assistance in South Carolina and you don't have a car and you live in a rural area, then the program that we require you to participate in, you can't get there. You have to have help getting there. Helping people be able to get transportation that will last them, to be able to help them get to and from jobs. We would like to do a lot more in the area of subsidized employment, getting employers to be able to take on our clients for kind of a trial basis, help them learn to function in the workplace, and then have a good, well-trained employee. And we could support some of that with extra dollars if we had it to do.
And Dr. Hayes, we hear so much about state agencies and their budgets and the cuts. I would imagine that if you were able to have this extra money, it would ease that process.
It would ease that process, and it's at a time that we need to be able to support citizens. So, I mean, the timing is really critical for us, and we don't want to miss this opportunity.
And Tom, once again, if this reauthorization happens in 2010, it's going to go before Congress. What sort of support do you have leading into 2010?
Well, I think we're going to have a lot of support, not only here in South Carolina, but throughout the Southeast, because 33 out of 50 states are going to benefit from the new formula, which is a very positive thing. And I think finally we're going to rectify something that was developed years ago with a flawed formula, and now, you know, it's the fair and the right thing to do, and I think it's going to pass.
And do you have the entire South Carolina delegation on board with this, or are they going to go and fight in Washington for this cause?
We have been making contacts. We're in the early stages of doing that, and I have felt like there's very broad support for this.
Absolutely.
So,
I think there's very broad support. Senator Graham's office has already been supplying us with help through one of his staff members and helping us get in touch with the right people. So we've really got a lot of support from the delegation.
And Linda, one last question. If there are families watching this morning and they're finding themselves either in this situation or heading in that direction, what can they do to get in contact with DSS?
There are two programs that are designed to help families that can really make the difference for a family that's finding themselves in new poverty right now. The first one is our SNAP program that was formerly known as the Food Stamp Program. It's now called SNAP, and it's a way to provide families with nutritious food at a supplement so that they can be able to buy what they need to feed their families. And then the TANF program in South Carolina has a special name. It's called Family Independence, because that's our aim, is to make families independent of welfare. And it's available. They just need to go to their county DSS office and tell the receptionist that they want to apply for SNAP and family independence.
Okay. Linda Martin, Dr. Kathleen Hayes with DSS, and Tom Keith with Sisters of Charity. Thanks so much, and keep us updated leading up to 2010.
Will do. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And coming up, an honor flight in South Carolina is getting ready to take off again. We'll have a preview of two brothers who are going on that trip.